The city of Antipolo is a first-class component city and capital of the province of Rizal in the Philippines. Antipolo was converted from municipality into a component city of Rizal province. A new provincial capital building was inaugurated to replace the old capital in Pasig, which has long been outside the jurisdiction of Rizal province since Pasig was included in Metro Manila. With the transfer of the provincial government to Antipolo, it is highly favored to be officially designated as the new capital of the province. Antipolo is the most populated city in the Philippines under a component city status. The city is popular for being a pilgrimage site. It prides itself as the pilgrimage capital of the Philippines. The Marian image of the Our Lady of Peace and Good Voyage, or the Virgin of Antipolo, which was brought in from Mexico in 1626 and enshrined in the Antipolo Cathedral, has a continuous following among Filipino Catholics since the Spanish colonial era. A popular custom of pilgrimage to the Virgin of Antipolo is the trek going to its shrine on the eves of Good Friday from various locations in Rizal and Metro Manila. The most notable of these pilgrimages would begin the trek from the Minor Basilica, the Black Nazarene in Quiapo, Manila, following the procession of the image. Its higher elevation than that of Metro Manila affords it a scenic view of the metropolis, especially at night. Its locally grown mangoes and cashews are popular among tourists, as well as suman, a local delicacy made out of glutinous rice. The Hinulugang Taktak National Park, which was once a popular summer getaway, is being restored to become again one of the city's primary attractions. The city was named after the Tipolo tree, which was in abundance in the area. Franciscan missionaries arrived in Antipolo in 1578 and built a small church on what is now Boso-Boso Church. They were soon replaced in 1591 by the Jesuits, who organized the village into a parish. By 1601, the Christian population of Antipolo had grown as the indigenous Dumagat population dwindled and moved deeper into the interiors. An uprising of Manila's Chinese residents reached Antipolo in 1602. It led to the raising of church. On March 25, 1626, the image, now known as the Virgin of Antipolo, was brought from Acapulco, New Spain, by Governor General Juan Niño de Tabora, who relinquished the image to the Jesuits of Antipolo's church. In 1650, the village was organized into a town and became part of Tondo province. When the province was divided in 1853, Antipolo became a part of the district of San Mateo de los Montes, which later became the district of Morong. The Recollects took over Antipolo in 1864. It was during these years that the Virgin of Antipolo gained the following of devotees. Devotees from Manila and nearby towns and provinces flocked to Antipolo on foot or on hammocks, trekking along mountain trails and springs. During the First Republic, the town served as the capital of Morong until it was occupied by the Americans on June 4, 1899. The revolutionary government then transferred Morong's capital to Tanay. Soon after, the Americans established a civil government in 1901. On June 11, 1901, Antipolo was incorporated into the newly established province of Rizal, which included towns of Morong District and Manila Province. In 1903, Antipolo, Boso-Boso, and Teresa were merged. The town's territory was expanded again in 1913 to add the sitios of Mayamot and Bulao, just to lose Teresa 6 years later to become an independent municipality. During the start of the Second World War in the Philippines, Antipolo became a refugee destination for many citizens from Manila and its suburbs who sought to avoid the Japanese invaders vying to occupy the Philippine capital. Also, 2 guerrilla units operated in the town against the Japanese. They were the Hunters ROTC under Miguel Burr and Perry Adiboso, and the Marking Filipino and American troops, which were established and led by Marcos Villa Agustin, more popularly known under the name Brigadier General Agustin Marking. The liberation of Antipolo from the Japanese forces was bloody and devastating. On February 17, 1945, Antipolo was heavily bombarded by American planes. Antipolo residents evacuated to Sitio Colayque and up to the towns of Angono, Santolan, and Marikina. To protect the image from being destroyed, Procopio Angeles, then the sacristan mayor, and members of the community brought with them the Virgin of Antipolo. The bombings on March 6-7, 1945 destroyed the church, and after 12 days of battle, the combined American and Filipino soldiers under the United States Army, Philippine Commonwealth Army, and Philippine Constabulary and aided the local recognized guerrillas of the Hunters ROTC and Marking's Filipino-American troops liberated the town on March 12, 1945. After the war, a temporary church was built and the Virgin of Antipolo was returned from the Quiapo Church on October 15, 1945. Religious devotees began to flock to the town, and on May 6, 1947, the first procession of the Virgin of Antipolo was held, starting at the hills of Inagnisahan. In the following year, a national committee was formed to undertake a nationwide fundraising campaign to rebuild the Cathedral of Antipolo. On June 15, 1952, Hinulugang Taktak was proclaimed a national park by President Ramon Magsaysay, and on January 14, 1954, the bishops of the Philippines proclaimed the Cathedral of Antipolo as the national shrine of the Virgin of Antipolo. In 1960s, the town proper or poblacion was widened and the Samulang Highway was constructed, as well as the Marikina-Infanta Road, better known as the Marcos Highway, which traversed the mountains of Antipolo. On February 13, 1998, the Public Act No. 8508 was enacted, converting Antipolo into a component city. The conversion of the city was ratified in a plebiscite less than 2 months later on April 4, 1998.